court is now in session. Judge Keely Pitting is presiding. Please be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case of the people of Georgia versus Tay Gray. This is a criminal case brought by the state of Georgia charging the defendant Tay Gray with theft in the third degree. The state claims that Tay Gray, with the intent to deprive the owner, Walmart, of its property, he stole $12 worth. Tay Gray admits that he took the food but denies the fact that it is a crime. Mr. Gray claims that he has done nothing wrong. Is both sides ready?
Ready for the people, Your Honor. Ready for the defense, Your Honor.
Will the clerk please swear the jury?
Will the jury please stand and raise your right hand? Do each of you swear that you will fairly try the case before this court and that you will return a true verdict according to the evidence and the instructions of the court? So help you God. Please say I do. I do. You may be seated. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, defendant has been charged with the crime of third-degree theft. This is a misdemeanor, which is a charge of $1,000 minimum, imprisonment of no more than 12 months. I'd like to call Tay Gray up to the questioning table, please. The term theft is widely used to refer to crimes involving the taking of a person's property without their permission. Do you understand that? Then do you also understand that you wrongfully stole $42 worth of product from Walmart? Then you also understand that you are in the third-degree theft? So then why did you take it? If you understand everything about thievery, then why did you take it?
So you saying my client here is guilty for what his actions that he did. Okay. So, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen, of the jury, under the law, my client is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Then in this trial, you will hear no real evidence against my client. You will come to know the truth that Tay Gray was just stealing that $42 worth of stuff for his family. Tay background, if y'all didn't know my client, Tay, he got involved in the wrong crowd when he was young. He was addicted to, his parent was addicted to drugs in the past. His mom on crack. His dad walked out on him. Three kids of his siblings. One is a boy, which is 7, a girl, which is 5, and a little boy that is 2. So, all during his life, with Tay being the oldest child, Tay had to provide for his family. There's no way that my client would see what he did was wrong. Because what he did is for a reason. Now, I see if my client was doing that, like if he had, like he was wealthy at a minimum of life, if he was wealthy and didn't have to do that for a reason, he was just doing it because he was involved in the wrong crowd.
Objection.
Ms. Burgess, do you have an objection?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Proceed.
So, his personal life has given him excuses to break the law? Yes. That gives him every right to break laws that are given to everyone, and that there is no exception anywhere.
No, because my client, he did that for a reason. Like I said before, jury, I said that Like, if he was wealthy, and he didn't have no reason, he was just doing it for fun because he the crowd that he hung around. But Tay, he has 3 siblings, plus him, the oldest child. What would you do if you was in Tay's shoes? You would do the same thing. Would you just let your siblings sit there and suffer because of hungriness? They have no food on your table, no clothes on your back. Would you let your siblings do that? Say in case he did have his mom or dad and they weren't able to work and they living homeless. It's people today who still can walk in Tay's shoes because they go through the same thing. So you have to understand where Tay come from when he stole that $42. His sister can't be diagnosed with a disease and needed that medicine because he wasn't able to sign her up for welfare, Medicaid, or anything else. And he needed that medicine to provide for his sister so he won't have to bury his sister in a casket or anywhere else. So that's what I'm saying, jury, and to everybody else, the jury and the judge. That's what I'm saying. Tay had a good reason. That's why he's not guilty for doing his wrong, for stealing $42 worth of stuff, materials from Walmart.
I'd like to call my client to the stand. Do you know how much you charged Tay Gray for his eatery? And since he could not pay that, he was in prison for how long? 6 months. Okay. So as I've said before, a misdemeanor is a minimum of 12 months. He was only given 6. So we were lenient on him, were you not? And he was only charged $300 in fees when minimum was 1,000 grand. So he was given slack, despite the fact that he broke laws. Now I would also like to say that despite your family, despite who has wronged you, you should have the integrity and self-worth not to be a thief. And she's telling me that he has every right and he has reasons to steal. But there's only one reason he could have stolen. Because he wanted to. And that is a given right. No.
Object. I think that my client, like you said, my client, he stole because of reason. He didn't stole because he wanted to, but he has to. He was the only person who in charge to provide for his family. Okay, I respect that y'all gave him the lack, or despite the things that he did, that y'all see that's wrong in his, that y'all see that is wrong in your eyes. But my client, he did it because of his family. He thought about family. He was just being self-centered on himself, but he was sharing with others. Y'all have to understand that. And I respect the fact, and I think I'll forgive him 6 months instead of 12, but still. Them 6 months, my client, family, siblings, could have been hungry. Where were he going to go? Where were they going to go? His 2 sisters, his 2 brothers, and his 1 sister. You just can't, and like how your parents or anybody else, they'll tell you stranger danger. So you want his family, his siblings to go to a soup kitchen? Anything can happen.
They could also get fed for free.
But
who's going to pay for what he stole? Who's going to pay for that $342? That's the taxpayers. That's who's going to pay for it. But that should not have been the case. He should not have done it in the first place, despite what other options he had. He had plenty of options. He could have gone to the soup kitchen. There are programs for orphans where they would have gotten fed, and they would have been put in the foster system, and they would have been taken care of. But he decided to be ignorant and steal anyways.
So disrespectful how you call my client ignorant. But
Excuse me.
still.
Ignorant it means not knowing or unknowledgeable of something. It is not an insult. It's merely a fact.
Well, like I said, now when you have stepped in my client's shoes, you have to understand the process of what he was doing. He was trying to make a living. Maybe if he would have stole that $42 to put the clothing on his sister or brother back, or gave them no food, maybe he would go out the next day because he know that they was sitting taken care of. Maybe he would go the next day, try to probably find him a job, probably would have did anything that was right to the community.
But he didn't.
But still, it was a process that my client was trying to go through. And y'all don't get that.
See, you're bringing into court a what-if situation. What if he had the next day, if he'd not been arrested? What if the next day he'd gotten a job? What could he have done yesterday, or the day before that, or months before that? He had options. He had choices. He has no excuse to steal, because who is going to be punished for that? The people. Everyone who has the dignity and self-worth and encouragement to do their own work, to get their own jobs and pay for what they can afford. If he could not afford anything, there are programs for that. The city has built programs for people like him who have no other choices. But he had plenty. He had enough. He had all the options he could have taken, but he didn't. He chose to do the wrong thing. He took the wrong road. And you're going to tell me that it's his father. His father and his mother were the cause of all his problems. That's why he's so poor, and that's why he can't get a job. You are not your parents. You are yourself. You cannot blame anything on
But your
anybody
parents
else.
have a reflection on you. Say if your mom didn't buy you that cute outfit you have on. Say if your dad didn't provide for his wife or didn't work. You would be in the same boat as Tay. Y'all would have to, you, your mom, and your family would have to go through a process just to get where y'all need to be. So everyone can go through a process of getting from nothing to something. So basically what I'm saying, $42, he can probably replace that after he goes through the process of coming from nothing to something.
If you grow up poor, that is not your fault. But if you end up poor on the top of the food chain, when you're an adult, that is your own fault. If my parents were crackheads and they left out on me when I was a young age, you would not see me sitting here like him, stealing. You would see me getting to the top, being the best I can to prove my parents wrong, that I am not anything like them. That's what I would have done. That's what he should have done. He should have tried everything he could to be nothing like his parents, to be nothing like drug addicts, to be nothing like skip-outs. He is his own person, not who his parents tell him to be. Despite how everyone says you become who you grow up around. That is completely untrue. If you want to be something, you can be something. If your parents tell you you can't be this or that, they have no choice over you. You can be whatever you choose to be. And he could have been successful. He could have been a good person. But he wasn't. He chose not to be. Chose.
But my client, he could have panicked. He could have been like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? No mom, no nothing. Because in a household, usually your mom, she cooks the food, she buys the clothes. Your dad, he provides the money. But Tay, with him still being a young age, a teenager, being the oldest one out of his siblings, he could have panicked and be like, what I'm going to do. Couldn't know. He wasn't out. He couldn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do, so he panicked. So he was like, okay, his panic, like, he could have had his siblings saying something to them. Oh, Tay, brother, I'm hungry. What are we going to do? We going to die. So he panicked. You have to think about stuff like that. You just can't think about what the community said because you have different point of views what the community say. You have rich people who don't even give to the homeless. You have wealthy people who try to make it too rich. You have homeless people be like, oh my gosh, God, why you did me like this? Or anything else. That's what you have to think about. My client, he did that out of respect because what he had for his siblings. He did that because he loved his siblings. Y'all always depends on what your point of view or the community point of view, but y'all don't understand where he comes from. So what if they had a school kitchen? So what they had all these programs, but it takes process to get in the process of get in the program. You just can't go to private. You can't, like for disability, you just can't sit up there, sign a paper, or they gonna give you a check every month or whatever. It's a process. It is a process. Just like anything else, welfare, Medicaid, anything else. It's a process of going through that. So Tay, with him being a young age, Tay had to wait until a certain age. Like the commercials on TV, anything else. You have to be 18 or older to call in, do this, order this. Tay wasn't 18. My client's only 16. So it's just a process to get where he needs to be.
They have free clinics, you know. You go in, you tell them your problem, and they'll fix it for you for free because it's a free clinic. They have plenty of those. And so, I see we're running out of time. Please rise and discuss who has won, my city representative or Miss Markwell Owens. I don't know why I said that person. Client Tay Gray.
Alright, everybody be quiet. Okay, Tay is guilty, raise your hand. Dang, if you think he's not guilty, raise your hand. All in favor? One for all. Alright.
Will one member of the jury please come forward